I remember getting out of the exam and thinking, wow, I had spent so much time practicing the wrong things that never even came up in the paper, and all I had to do was study how to answer questions. I felt so stupid. If you are struggling with your A levels, there's a good chance you're making the exact same mistakes I made that I wish somebody had warned me about. Now, I wasn't the smartest student, but I was a hard worker. But there is a big difference between being a hard worker and being a hard worker who understands time efficiency. When I started to understand the difference between hard work or working smarter and not harder, that's when a lot of opportunities started to come my way. I went from being an E student to being an A student in physics in 3 months. I got a full ride scholarship to study at NYU Abu Dhabi. I got invited to so many summer schools. It was, honestly, I had an incredible time when I understood how to study efficiently. And I think that's what a lot of students struggle with at A-levels, and they think they're not good at it. And it's just because they're practicing in the wrong way. Like, you're not preparing in the right way, and I struggled with that for months. So, I'm going to give you 3 simple principles that won't only transform your A-levels and your grades, but your overall experience. I'm hoping that with this, you're not only going to enjoy studying, but you're also going to have time to actually be a social butterfly, to actually enjoy your experience and not just have to study all the time. Because as much as you need to study for your A-levels, it shouldn't be the only part of your life. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, my first hack is you need to learn to fail. Now, I don't know when being curious or trying to get really good at something or trying hard at something became this public scrutiny, but I do know being in class, having a burning question, and being scared to put my hand up because of the fear of looking stupid or sounding stupid or like the question already being answered. Like, I just remember that feeling so much. Even now, like when I think about it, I can legit see all of the times I would be in class just sat there and thinking that it was a waste of time to ask a question. Like, why? The whole reason you're in class is to learn, so why wouldn't you hear me out. If you're currently in a semester, right, and you know every time you go into class you have no idea what's going on, ma'am, sir, I need you to start raising your hand. I mean, straight up. I don't care if your crush is in school. I don't care if your crush is sat next to you. I don't care if the teacher doesn't like you. I generally do not. What I care about is you getting a good grade. And what I care about is you understanding what's going on in the class before you leave. On a more practical note, this is what you can do to actually ask effective questions before you go to class. If you're really struggling with content in a class, like you are in physics and you're learning about electromagnetic waves, let's just say that, right? And you have no idea what's going on, I need you to read about the content the night before, write down what you know, and write down the gaps in your knowledge and the questions that you have based on that gap in your knowledge. Okay, I know it sounds a bit confusing. That's why I've made this document for you completely free. I know. I have made this document called the 3 C's, which you can find in the description below. So, the example I have written here is homeostasis. Let's say you're struggling with the topic of homeostasis. Now, I'm not a biologist, but it's just a topic I remember back in biology, right? So let's say you're struggling with the topic homeostasis. First things first, write it in the topic section. Write the topic, homeostasis. And then I want you to write exactly what you think it means. Now, it can be it doesn't have to be a full sentence. Just tell me what you think homeostasis means. Maybe it can just be a 1 sentence. Oh, I think homeostasis means the regulation of the body's temperature. Or I think homeostasis is to do with hair standing up and standing down. Oh, I think just write what you think from now. Before you even touch a textbook. What is your current understanding of the topic? Now, once you've done that, I want you to read about the subject. Next, very important, you need to identify where the confusion is coming from. And you will identify this by writing questions, but not just basic questions like what is homeostasis? Like, that's so open-ended. You have already stated in the previous column your basic understanding of homeostasis. So to be honest, you have some kind of idea of what it means. In the questions column, you need to get very specific as to exactly what is confusing you about this topic. So, for example, if you've written about homeostasis, I don't want you to write something like, what is homeostasis? Instead, get very specific to what you don't understand. So, in this example, rather than writing a question of what is homeostasis, you can say something like, What signal tells the hypothalamus that the body temperature has changed? Is it electrical, is it chemical, or is it both? Now you have gone so specific as to exactly what pain point you have, which is, in this sense, the signal. The signal is what is confusing you. And now you're even asking, you've given 3 examples, right? You've given, chemical, hormonal, electrical. You have shown that you're actually given, like you've sat down to try to figure it out, but you still can't, and you just need that clarification. And then the next day you can go to school with this question and get the exact answer that you need that's going to bridge the gap in your knowledge. And that's how you're going to better understand the topic, rather than trying to sit down for ages and figure it out yourself. Like I'll be sat down for hours trying to figure out questions, like trying to figure out topics, when all I had to do was write down my topic, write down my understanding of the topic, write down the specific questions that I had, and then go to the teacher the next day, because it is their job to help you. Go to the teacher the next day, and legit, it would feel like I was in heaven. I'll be like, wow, I spent ages trying to figure this out. And all I had to do was write down specific questions. Clock it. One more thing. To write highly effective questions, turn your confusion into a question by using the 3 terms how, why, or what happens when. Now, I'll try to give you some examples down below so you understand what I'm trying to say, but those will automatically help you to ask more effective questions. Okay, so now that you've learned to fail, meaning that you're no longer scared to ask questions in public in front of your classmates, yep, you now need to learn how to study effectively. What does that mean? Alright, so despite popular belief, studying is not just about going to class and sitting there and listening to the teacher speak. It's also not about making the highlighters your BFF and basically highlighting everything in your textbook. No. Studying effectively is all about, and it will always be about, active learning. Active learning is not about reviewing the notes that you have read, but it's about practicing what you know in real time to understand the gaps in your knowledge. See, you want to do so much active learning that you can catch the gaps in the exam before the exam catches you. Can I get some clicks? So here are 3 ways that you can actually start actively learning right now, and you will see an instant improvement in your grade. Number 1, blurting. Blurting is a method where you close your textbook and you basically write everything you know about the topic that you just studied. And you can do this throughout the week. You can do this like repetitively, dedicate a day per week for one topic and just you kind of like blurt how much you know. And what I would usually do is that after I finish blurting, I would go back to the revision guide or like to my own notes and see the difference between what I know versus what else I can add, not what I can copy. We're not trying to copy the revision guide. We're just trying to see how much we know compared to how much is in the revision guide, and any keywords or any gaps, like huge gaps that can be added to our work, to our blurting method to make it stronger. That doesn't mean you copy exactly what's on the revision guide, but maybe you look at any keywords that you missed. Maybe you look at any concepts that you missed. You're not trying to copy things, you're trying to fill in the gaps in your knowledge. The next way that you can actively learn is using exam papers. And oh my gosh, exam papers have to be like the gold mine of active learning. Exam papers literally carried me through the 2 years. Never mind 2 years. Exam papers carried me from year 9 to my graduation at university. Yeah. Exam papers are so essential, and I did over 75 papers. I'm not saying you have to do 75 papers. That's what I did because I needed it. I used to find my exam papers either on the exam board website or other websites such as Save My Exams and Physics and Math Tutor. And here's the thing with exam papers, because you're probably in November, you still have so much content still to go through. But the thing with exam papers is that you need to get comfortable with doing them even before you know everything. And that was what would cause me so much anxiety. That's why it took me such a long time to even do my exam papers, because I was scared that I didn't know enough and therefore I didn't even want to try. But that is such a blunder, because exam papers, even if you know the content, it will still show you the gaps in your knowledge. Right? Exam papers will allow you to understand the structure of the exam outside of the content. Exam papers allow you to understand the structure of the exam, how much time you require per question, and it allows you to see the mistakes from other students by looking at the exam reports. It allows you to see the keywords that you're looking for. It basically allows you to study more effectively. So even if you haven't started to learn content in class and you see it in an exam, you basically understand the approach of the question, and therefore when you're even learning that content, you kind of understand what to learn and what to leave behind. Sorry guys, I didn't realize how dark it was getting. I just looked at my camera and I was like, oh, it's getting kind of dark. Finally, my next step for active learning are flashcards or the concept of teaching. So that can either be a fake audience, I would always speak to myself, or actually teaching a person. So flashcards are amazing. Like, flashcards are great. You summarize notes, you just kind of write the key points on a card and you just know, like, you see the question, you know the key points you want to hit. But even better than flashcards, it might sound a bit crazy, but for me, I would always read my flashcard questions, and before I looked at the answer, I would pretend to teach an audience of students. So legit, I would read a question like, what is Newton's second law? Now, I don't remember. What is Newton's first law? Is it that an action is equal to exerts an equal and opposite reaction? I don't know. There are too many laws, man. Newton's first law of motion, also known as the law of inertia,
states that an object will rest or stay at rest, and an object in motion will stay in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced external force.
Okay, so this is how I would do it, right? Now we understand Newton's first law of motion. For example, if the flashcard said, what is Newton's first law of motion? I wouldn't just kind of regurgitate what I knew about it or like try to answer what I had written on the flashcard. I would pretend to speak to a fake audience. Like, I would be like, so class, today we're going to be understanding Newton's first law of motion. We understand that Newton has 3 laws, but because today we're focusing on Newton's first law of motion, this is what you need to understand. Newton's first law of motion states that an object will stay at rest, or an object will continue to go in motion in the same direction unless acted upon by an external force. Does anyone have questions? Legit, that's how I was a crazy person. I still am, but that's legit how I found the gaps in my knowledge, and that's how I basically trained myself to understand and to build confidence in answering questions. Pretend to speak to someone, pretend to teach people, and when you're able to teach people, you're able to teach yourself even more effectively. Because it's one thing to be able to learn, it's another thing to teach somebody what you have learned. Now, my final principle is that at A-levels, to actually be successful, is you have to not only focus on the academic side of things, you also need to find balance with your passion projects and your extracurriculars. I know it probably feels like you need to be studying all the time, like you need to always be on the move, you need to be doing past papers, exams are creeping in, but trust me, there's only so much you can learn, there's only so much you can study. And if you have done the previous steps, like if you actually start actively learning and if you actually get comfortable with learning to fail, you will save yourself so much time and so much stress, because you are basically putting yourself in a very comfortable position for when the exam comes, because you have already identified your mistakes before the exam even occurred. So now, with the time that you're saving, you're able to also do things outside of school, like outside of studying. And it's really important that you can start mapping how much time you're studying in a week and how much time you can dedicate to your passion projects. And I usually use Google Calendar to kind of like write my school working week, how much I was studying, where I had gaps, where I could delve into other creative pursuits, and that would kind of like guide my semesters, if that makes sense. Again, in my old video where I talk about A-levels, did pretty well actually. You can see a calendar, like a semester at a glance calendar that I have inserted in there and how to use it. I will also insert it in here, but that along with Google Calendar is going to help you to basically prioritize your days and give you a better understanding and a better overview of how much time you actually have. It's not only about studying. Enjoy the fact that you can learn new things, get a passion projects going. And the thing is, all of these things that you're going to do, like passion projects, extracurriculars, are going to help you so much at university. Like even writing your personal statement, when you're able to link to your passion projects, it just makes you stand out even more as a student, because you're not only studying like most students are. And as someone who went to a US school, I really found the power of having extracurriculars at school and being able to talk about these things, not just my academics. That's pretty much it, guys. That's all I have to say. Do I have anything else to say? I thought I did, but I don't think I do. Anyways, I hope this video was informative and I hope you are able to take something away from it. I know I was yapping a lot, but genuinely, as a student who struggled so much at A-levels, as somebody who really had a hard time figuring out how to study effectively for my exams, the best thing I can tell anyone in that position right now who is struggling is to get comfortable with past papers, to get comfortable with failing in public, to get comfortable with asking questions, and really that is the recipe for success. And also to not lose sight of the passions that you have. Like, I found my passion for photography during this time. I did A-level photography, but also I would spend my weekends basically roaming around London taking pictures of things, and that has helped me to make a YouTube channel, you know, like that passion was kind of discovered at that age and I haven't looked back since. But it's all a combination of different things, right? But if I was to go back, this is the exact advice I would tell someone in my shoes. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. Let me know if there's anything you still have questions about and I'll get back to you. Let me know how your A-levels are going. Let me know basically what videos you would like to see on this channel. It's been a while since I posted. Life has been a bit shaky, but we're coming back on track now. We are. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.